lovelies. It is time for another tapping. So this week is about momentum. I know that this is one of the top things that I hear from private clients. I struggle with keeping my momentum going. I struggle with consistency. And I thought, you know what, we have, if you're doing this close to the time of recording, we have the new moon in Capricorn coming up, where this is a really good time to manifest more discipline, to manifest drive and ambition. And so it's the new year. We are trying to keep the momentum going on all of our juicy New Year's intentions we've been dreaming up. So it's the perfect time to tap on momentum. So the first limiting belief we're going to tap on is I have a hard time keeping my motivation and finishing what I started. So let's uncross our legs, take a sip of water, and get to tapping. So start our karate chop point. Even though I lose momentum, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I lose momentum, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though it's hard to stay motivated, I deeply and completely love and respect myself. Even though it's hard to stay motivated, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Hi, Katie. Even though I tend to give up, I deeply and completely love and honor myself. We're tapping on momentum. Okay, we're going to go to the eyebrow point. So it's so hard to keep my momentum. It's so hard to keep my momentum. I get so excited. I start off strong and motivated. And then I lose it. Sometimes it stops slowly. Or sometimes a change in my routine. Throws me completely out of whack and I stop suddenly. And then I just can't seem to get back on track. I just can't seem to get back on track. I have these visions and desired outcomes. And it's fulfilling to work towards them. But I get so discouraged when I lose motivation. Maybe I lack discipline. To manifest my dreams and desires. And it makes me feel guilty. And then I feel even more stuck. So it's easier to just give up and stop thinking about it. But I want to gain momentum. I love when I feel motivated. It is such a good feeling. So why is it so hard to keep it? Maybe the first thing is to start releasing this guilt. And letting go of this resentment. I'm ready to get back on track. I'm ready to get back on track. What I tend to forget is motivation moves in cycles. Motivation moves in cycles. And burnout really sucks. These cycles are actually working in my favor. So maybe I could learn to lean in and enjoy them. Thank you for the cycles that keep me healthy. I'm not meant to be motivated all of the time. And I'm grateful my body intuitively knows that. Oh, I gotta chill. Momentum is something that builds up slowly. Taking even the teensiest actions towards my desires is actually exponential in the long run. So when I'm not feeling motivated, I can show up for myself in small ways. And feel really good. That I'm supporting future me. And when I am feeling motivated, it feels really exciting to take those big actions. But I'm realizing that the way I show up when I'm unmotivated is actually the game changer. Every day, in every way, I am showing up for myself. The small actions are actually life-changing. I surrender and love the cycle I am in. My momentum is always building. And I am always committed to my dream life here and now. Let's take a deep breath. So it's a new year. We might be feeling motivated still right now, but I know with New Year's intentions and resolutions, it's easy to lose that momentum. And so this will be a great one to come back to if you're like, I want to be on track for this thing. I want to show up for it. Momentum is always building. And I've really realized that it's the little things that we do in our day-to-day that can actually change our life the most. And the big things are more dramatic, so we give them way more credit, but it's actually the way we show up in small ways for ourselves every day. So the next one we're going to tap on is it's impossible for me to be consistent. This is the biggest struggle I hear from every single person I work with on a one-to-one basis. Everyone in the communities, everyone that I chat with in my DMs are like, but how do I stay consistent? So let's tap on it. Let's get it going, right? Okay. So deep breath. Let's start at our karate chop. My bracelets, I have lots of bracelets on today. I'm enjoying that. I don't know if you can hear, it's like tapping ASMR. It's jingling. Okay. Even though I'm inconsistent, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm inconsistent, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though it's so hard for me to be consistent, I deeply and completely love and respect myself. Even though it's so hard for me to be consistent, I deeply and completely love and respect myself. Even though I lack consistency, I deeply and completely love and honor myself. Even though I lack consistency, I deeply and completely love and honor myself. All right, deep breath. And let's get into it. Okay. It feels impossible for me to be consistent. It feels impossible for me to be consistent. I have all these habits and goals. I have all these habits and goals that I want to show up for. That I want to show up for. That I know are so good for me. That I know are so good for me. And fulfill really meaningful desires. And fulfill really meaningful desires. But it feels physically impossible. But it feels physically impossible to show up for them consistently. To show up for them consistently. I get so frustrated. I get so frustrated. I'm so tired of being this way. I'm so tired of being this way. Why is it so hard to be consistent? Why is it so hard to be consistent? Shouldn't doing something good for myself be easy? Shouldn't doing something good for myself be easy? I'm running out of excuses. I'm running out of excuses. And yet I am still struggling with this. And yet I am still struggling with this. It looks easy for other people. It looks easy for other people. And I feel like it should be easy for me. And I feel like it should be easy for me. But it feels like the most difficult thing in the whole world. But it feels like the most difficult thing in the whole world. And even when I do gain some consistency, one little thing can completely throw me off track. One little thing can completely throw me off track. It's such a delicate thing in my life. It's such a delicate thing in my life. Conditions have to be perfect. Conditions have to be perfect. My external circumstances have to be just right. My external circumstances have to be just right. But that's impossible to control. But that's impossible to control. And I know when things are off is when I need my consistency most. And I know when things are off is when I need my consistency most. So I'm tired and done with it. So I'm tired and done with it. All right, into our positive intention. I want to start by saying, I want to start by saying, I forgive myself for the times I gave up. I forgive myself for the times I gave up. I forgive myself for letting myself down. I forgive myself for letting myself down. I forgive myself for making excuses. I forgive myself for making excuses. I release all the resentment I have for myself. I release all the resentment I have for myself. This heaviness I've been carrying around. This heaviness I've been carrying around is like a ball and chain that only makes it harder. Is like a ball and chain that only makes it harder. So I fully and completely release it. So I fully and completely release it. I am claiming it now. I am claiming it now. I am consistent. I am consistent. When I am feeling huge resistance, when I am feeling huge resistance to what I've committed to what I've committed to, I'll show up for the mini version of it. I'll show up for the mini version of it. So I don't lose the habit. So I don't lose the habit. So I can keep the momentum going. So I can keep the momentum going. That feels really doable. That feels really doable. I'm taking the pressure off. I'm taking the pressure off. I'm having fun and feeling good. I'm having fun and feeling good. Consistency is easy. Consistency is easy. There's no question of consistency in my world. There's no question of consistency in my world. It's simply who I am. It's simply who I am. I am consistent. I am consistent. And it feels so good. And it feels so good. There's never been anyone ever as consistent as me. There's never been anyone ever as consistent as me. Okay. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Let's go straight into a little meditation. Let's take a deep breath. Let out a big sigh. Take another one, breathing as deep as possible and holding at the top for just a moment. Breathing in and release. One more time, breathing in deep, beautiful, golden, healing light. And when you release, imagining this gray smoke leaving your body. And that's just all the stagnant energy you no longer need. And as I'm talking, try to keep this visual in your mind and try to stay present with your breath, breathing in golden light, breathing out gray smoke, and imagining every cell in your body lighting up with this golden light, activating And with every breath out, you just feel yourself releasing more and more of this stagnant energy. I wanted to tap on momentum this week because this is one of the trickiest things that we all tend to hold on to more resentment than we realize when it comes to this area of our life. And when that resentment or disappointment continues to add up, we don't realize how much of it that is simply the problem. The guilt of, I'm remembering to do this thing, but I'm just choosing not to do it. And I'm no stranger to the feeling of, I know that would be easy. I know I have the time, but it feels physically impossible for me to do it right now. So just remembering that it's not normal to feel the experience of motivation all of the time. Motivation is a cycle that we move through. If we feel motivation 100% of the time, for forcing ourselves to be motivated 100% of the time, that's where we get stuck in burnout, where our body forces us to slow down. We get sick, or some other situation happens in our lives where we're sort of forced to take a step back. And so it's actually way more helpful for us to really tune in to these cycles. And at the same time, balancing that with self discipline. Really, the key, I think, to getting everything we want, to feeling creative, to being active creators of our lives, to creating lives that feel full of purpose and passion and things that light our souls on fire. It's really balancing this self-awareness and self-discipline, noticing when we are moving through a cycle of slowness and not feeling guilty about it, leaning into it, but at the same time, knowing and having this self-awareness to when it's not necessarily a period of rest we're being called to, but rather it's our ego freaking out and telling us, no, 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 we're not doing that. And so one of the most helpful things I've found is compromising with myself and showing up for mini versions of my commitments. So if I'm not feeling motivated, if I'm avoiding my desired habit of meditation, for instance, if my intention is to meditate every day for at least 15 minutes, but I'm feeling resistance to that, okay, well, I'll set a timer for 3 minutes. And with that, usually I'll sit there longer anyways, maybe not the full 15. But that way, my momentum continues, my habit is still established, and I can feel good that I showed up for myself in a small way. If you're someone working on building a business or a side hustle and you're having trouble showing up online consistently, maybe you just don't have the inspiration to create a post or an email today, but maybe you could just throw a little something on stories about your day or an affirmation or whatever it is. Find the mini versions of your commitments and show up for those. I think the biggest indicator of our path to transformation and creating all of these beautiful divine desires in our life, it's not the way we show up in the moments where we feel motivated. The biggest indicator of our success is really the way we show up when we're not feeling motivated. And so if you can't show up for the big thing, How can you show up for it in a small way? If you want to write a poem or write part of your book or just write to write, you just have a writer's block, maybe you can tap instead. Tap on creativity. There, you still showed up for this desire you have. Maybe not in the way you planned on, but you still did a small action for yourself. You took a couple minutes to say, I'm not feeling it. I have writer's block, but I'm going to do something about that and come back tomorrow. So this week, let's practice deep self-awareness. Let's set an intention together to be consistent, even if it's in the teensiest tiny ways. Perhaps you've set New Year's resolutions or intentions or goals, and when you feel the initial motivation of a new year, new beginning begin to fade, not giving up, but just showing up in small ways that takes care of your energy and keeps the momentum going. The nature of momentum is that it builds up slowly at first. If we're starting to roll a snowball off a hill, first we have to take the action to pack up that snowball. We probably have to push it ourselves at first, but after a while, it just starts rolling on its own. And so in this new year, we might be in this season of doing the work ourselves, packing the snowball, pushing it along. But before we know it, it doesn't really feel like it takes any effort at all to show up for this new habit consistently or show up for this goal. It's just a part of our lives, something we don't even have to think about. So even if you're only packing on a teeny bit more snow on any given day, it still helps build the momentum. And before you know it, it'll feel effortless to keep rolling down that hill. So let's put our hands on our heart and just make a little promise to ourselves. You can say it out loud and just say, I promise to show up for myself. I promise to show up for the things that mean so much to me. I promise to show up for my habits that I am working on integrating because I know they're so good for me. I promise to keep the momentum going, even in the smallest of ways, knowing that with the butterfly effect, especially in the long run, it's making exponential change in my life. So give yourself a big hug. Thank yourself for taking the time to do this tapping today. I'm feeling the energy of people are like right after this gonna go like write or paint or post or do things. I'm feeling the motivation spiking. I feel like my head's going. I'm like, ooh, I got ideas. I'm ready to go. Thank you so much.